Been on Track, Season 4, Episode 4. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Good to be back.
Admiral Red Shirt, Captains Daystrom and Jake Palpatine over there. We're back again. Long time no see, guys.
You talk about see you all the time.
I mean, here. But tonight, Obsession, Season 2, Episode 13, original air date, December 15th, 1967. Ooh. What were you doing in 67?
67? I was 2 years old.
I was a non-existent individual.
You're a non-entity?
I was a non-entity.
You weren't even a thought?
I don't even think Dad knew Mom yet.
67 was a good year.
67 was a good year?
Yeah. Was that year 2 of Trek?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, gentlemen. Obsession.
It's not just a fragrance.
No.
Yeah.
It's a state of mind.
State of mind.
It is. It is a good state of mind is the question.
Not necessarily.
No. Yeah.
Is it ever good to be obsessed?
Not for Kirk, it wasn't.
Well, what do we call it now? OCC?
Uh-huh. You mean OCD?
OCD. Yeah.
Obsessive compulsive disorder?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people have it.
I think he was triggered. He was just like
I think that's when somebody moves your stapler.
Don't use those woke words around me.
All right.
No woke.
No triggers and all that stuff.
Are you triggered by trigger?
Yes, I'm triggered by triggers.
Triggered by triggering.
Triggered by trigger.
Trigger warnings, yes.
Triggered by trigger. The only trigger you like is the horse?
And that's going back.
That's going way back.
Way back.
Before anybody was here. All right. Obsession. So, we join our heroes.
Well, what was this? Where was it? Season 2,
Season 2, Episode 13.
Episode 13.
Yep.
Okay.
Lucky number 13.
Yeah.
You already said that.
Did he?
I did say it.
Man, it's going to be a good podcast.
It is.
Where are you at?
We're also rested and alert.
We got Jake. Where's the real one?
Jake got a new.
Jake don't get it. Jake don't get into all the details.
Jake got a new hat.
He's got a new hat.
Rocking that Kango.
Hey,
Where's your Kango? Guys supposed to be the Blues Brothers.
that's right.
Jake and Elwood. I'm changing your name.
Captain Elwood Daystrom.
Captain Elwood. All right.
So let me ask a question.
Ask the question.
At the start of this episode, they don't even tell you what planet they're on, do they?
They tell you later.
No.
They're on Argus 10,
Yeah,
but they don't say that right away.
they do not. They start you off. Kirk and Spock are standing with 3 bully boys in front of a rock. And he goes, this is Tritantium.
Yeah.
21.3% or 21 times harder than diamonds.
Yeah.
Let's phaser a chunk of it off and send it up, and they can send a survey ship. There you go. That's the first 10 minutes of the episode.
I wonder. See, you should be getting a royalty. I found a planet with this crap on. I should be rich.
You're just a measly Federation captain working for the man.
I want my percentage.
There's no percentage for
I
you.
want a percentage.
You are allowed to continue to gallivant around space.
I wouldn't have turned it in.
Free to do what you will.
I wouldn't have turned it in. I would have turned it in to somebody else and got a percentage.
Well, remember, what was it in Balance of Terror? They said cast rhodium is the strongest mineral known to their science. So this isn't. It's not like they found a vein of rhodium.
Yeah, but this is super rare.
That's true too.
So
I want my percentage.
So Dystrom's not wrong. I mean, in the background of this, Spock's like, "Hey, we found something cool. We're gonna call in the boys. They're gonna strip.
I want my share.
Well, we don't know. I mean, we're assuming that there wasn't anything that went to them.
I want my share.
It could be.
I'm a couple of regular guys in the military. You stumble across a pot of gold, you don't get to keep the gold.
Hold that pot of gold until you get off. I say you're gonna destroy all records until we out of Starfleet.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
Daystrom Daystrom's daystroming.
It's the Kath and Tracy call. It's a way for me to get rich.
Mark runs a Jolly Roger on his ship.
That's right.
Piracy.
No, I'm not taking from nobody. I'm just not giving it to the Federation without getting my cut.
Let's just say that the planets in this episode don't fare very well.
Yeah. One's going to be
strip mine.
One's going to be strip mine. One's going to be strip mine.
And the other takes a
the other ones go through some
Antimatter.
environmental changes.
Right. Severe environmental change.
Environmental changes.
severe global warming.
So, yeah, Spock and Kirk are there. It's interesting that they have 3 security guys with them.
Oh, the bully boys do not fare well in this episode at all.
Yeah,
They're the Admiral's people.
it's a rough one. It's a rough one for my people.
Yeah.
It's a rough episode for my people.
They are unalived at quite a regular
I think you should pick it paramount for the loss of your people.
I'm looking for reparations. I'm looking for red shirt reparations.
Hit the phaser there, sir. Red shirt reparations. That's bad.
You are great. I am great.
I will get justice for my red shirts.
That's okay. But I can't have my little cut of the
I'm justice, not your cut. Justice.
It's justice that I get my cut.
It's justice that you get your cut. Well, Spock's breaking off your cut with a phaser.
Yeah, I'm keeping it too. I'm not
Spock's,
turning it in.
Spock's breaking off your cut for study.
So tell me, all you Star Trek fans, don't you think they should have got a cut? They find the planet. They find the Tritantium or whatever it is.
That's not the Starfleet way.
That don't matter. I want my cut.
It's not the Starfleet way.
All right.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
You want me to give you $1? You feel
It's
better?
not equal to the. That's not equal to the cut I'm supposed to receive.
It was a piece of styrofoam broke off with a cartoon phaser. What do you want? I'll give you $1 for it. No, but Spock breaks off a piece for sampling, and after a brief discussion, you find out it's pretty valuable, and they're going to call in a survey team. You'll never hear about that planet in one piece again.
Nope.
They're getting ready to beam up. Everything's pretty routine. They never say why there's 3 security guys with them. That's unusual. It's smart. I mean,
Don't you think you would have taken a geologist with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have went down at all. I would have just sent down a geologist.
Well, we've talked about that. That's the whole reality of Star Trek.
Yeah, we're starting to see. I mean, we've moved into what we would maybe call the non-prime episodes. At least I would. And we're starting to see there's a little bit there, but you know what? It's not minute after minute, scene after scene.
So Kirk was like, I'm tired of being on this ship. Let's beam down here and see these some rocks that we can turn into some cash.
Makes sense. I mean, Kirk and Spock get out and stretch their legs a little bit. In real life, Kirk would almost like never leave the ship. In real life.
In real life.
But it would have been nice to see a blue shirt.
A geologist, yeah. A geologist should have been there. But instead, 3 fully armed security guys and nothing to do.
Included one of our top 5 bully boys, right?
Lieutenant Leslie.
Leslie.
This is where Lieutenant Leslie gets killed the first time.
Right.
Because he miraculously is resurrected.
No lines for Leslie.
No.
No speaking part.
Well, does choking count?
That's true.
He coughs, he chokes.
Yeah.
I think he cries a little bit.
Yeah.
So they're getting ready to beam up with their cut, and Kirk says, "You smell that? That sickly sweet. That's." He says, "Do you smell that?" Everybody's like, "We don't know what you're talking about, Captain." And Kirk says, "Bust out your phasers. set for destruct. And fan out. And if you see
tricorder dichromium.
Tricorders on scanning for dichromium. And if you see a cloud, fire.
Yeah, very specific instructions.
Fire immediately."
Yeah.
And he sends off Lieutenant Leslie and Lieutenant Rizzo and unnamed Red Shirt, and they go looking for the dichromium cloud.
That they should shoot at immediately.
No
questions asked. They just head out.
Yeah.
I might have stopped for a minute and said, "Captain, that's pretty specic."
Yeah. Is there a story behind this?
Does
You mean
Does it involve you in the Farragut 11 years ago?
No, Ensign, there's a story. Yes, Ensign, there's a story behind it. And if you don't get your butt out there doing what I'm telling you, you'll never hear it. Because you be in the brig.
Thought you were a big fan of telling them why.
Oh, get out there and check real quick because something bad is out here. So I tell you to put your phaser on. It wasn't destruct. It was
destruct.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was destruct.
He said a certain phaser setting.
Destruct 7, I think it was.
Something like that.
One notch down from
get out there and start looking.
One notch down from no evidence.
You got to hand it to Kirk, I guess, because I just would have got out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd been like, oh, I've smelt that before. It's time to leave.
No,
then quarantine the planet.
He wanted revenge.
Yeah.
Well, as we find out, that wouldn't have worked anyway.
He wanted his obsession.
He knew it wouldn't work because they met it in space. He didn't meet it on a planet.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are.
Like we always do.
We do.
So our three...
It's a you problem.
It's a me problem? Yeah, I have a hard job. I have to keep somebody on track.
You got to keep the man on track.
Yeah, the men on track. Who's driving the bus? So our 3 security guards, including Lieutenant Leslie, fan out. And of course, in short order, they find a white cloud creeping up behind them. And they note that as they're scanning, it's like, I had it for a second, and it's almost like it's hiding from me. But how is that possible?
Yeah, it's pretty unique, too, because at first they have it like a little smoke bomb.
Yeah.
And then when Spock pulls out the phaser and hits the rock, you see this. They put the smoke bomb in reverse.
It backs up.
Yeah, back it up. But when it actually comes on screen again, it's it's a matte painting or something like that.
Yeah, they did
special effect.
They didn't mod it that much.
Yeah.
It was the use of the smoke in the scenes is good, especially when the reverse effect and everything. It does give you that impression of movement, of intelligent movement.
Mm-hmm.
They show it recoil when the phasers come out.
Right.
Don't know why, but when we find out later. But
yeah.
So our 3 security officers are moving forward. They totally lose it on the tricorder. They're trying to figure it out, and of course, it comes from behind. And Lieutenant Rizzo watches in horror as Lieutenant Leslie and unnamed Red Shirt number 3 are attacked by the cloud creature.
Do you guys buy this theme? Now, we saw it with the, what was the one with the Horda?
Devil in the Dark.
Yeah. We see this built-in 2-second human reaction to the startle.
I disagree.
Yeah. It's
some people will, some people won't.
Yeah. But it almost becomes more than a
standard
trope. It's like no human being is going to pull that trigger in those first 2 seconds, at least in the old universe.
I will.
Totally not true.
I will.
Yeah. I wouldn't even have hesitated thinking, because you could say, well, he was hesitating because he didn't want to hit the other bully boys in the cloud. But at that point, I've already written you off.
Yeah,
so I'm firing.
I got to take the shot. You're done either way, right?
Yeah.
I'll buy it for an inexperienced person. Like Garavik hesitating, okay.
I won't even buy it for an inexperienced person. This is a trope that they've written in. These are trained individuals. You get, even with untrained individuals, you get friendly fire because someone's startled.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In fact, the startling should make you fire even before you thought about it.
Before you should fire.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But flip side of that argument is, in real life, something like 15% of soldiers freeze the first time they actually get shot at.
Oh, well, they talk about fire rates, in World War II and then Korea and Vietnam. Maybe only 20 or 30% of people were firing their weapons.
Yeah.
The rest of them weren't. So, yeah, I get it. But I think the way that Roddenberry was writing it in there was he was trying to have a corner of humanity, and he relied on that. It's like, we're not these bloodthirsty killer animals. Look, we always hesitate before we pull the trigger. And I don't know, he used to be a police officer, and I guess at the end of the day, he's probably got a better understanding of what it takes to pull the trigger. but it just seems to be a plot device that we see it a lot.
Not when your life's in jeopardy.
I don't think that's the motivation of it. I think the device is to give you that moment of shock and horror.
Mm-hmm.
They're encountering something they've never encountered before.
You think it's cinematic?
Yeah.
A cloud is not going to give me shock and horror.
Well, my problem with it, and feeding back into what you said, is I'm a red shirt on a starship in a spacefaring.
I'm a trained dude.
Well, not even that.
He said shoot the cloud. I'm shooting up into the sky. I'm killing clouds.
No, but even beyond that, everything you're saying, I'm part of a spacefaring race. We do this all day. We run around. We run into stuff we've never seen before. And to your point, I got orders to blast clouds, and there's a cloud.
I think to Daystrom's point, if we take the Horta and we take the 2-second delay that leads to your demise, you don't know what you were looking for. To Daystrom's point,
this time you do.
Kirk drew a picture.
Yeah, he said.
I mean, he took out an etcher sketch and it said, "Look, it's going to be sickly sweet. It's going to be dichromium. It's going to look like a cloud, and it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
So you need to waste it as soon as you see it."
So I can get Starfleet guys because you're on different planets dealing with different social structures, and you don't know what's really enemy and what isn't. I could see being very careful of pulling and shooting a phaser at something.
Sure.
Okay. But this is not the case.
No, today is not that day.
I've been given all these tick points. Boop, 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 boop.
Do I smell candy?
I smell candy.
No, I smell
I see a cloud
candy.
moving toward me when there's no other clouds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm drawing a beeline and I'm blasting it. Whether I do anything is totally different.
And to add insult to injury, what was the guy's name? Rizzo. Rizzo gets on a tricorder, and he starts talking to Kirk.
Well,
He's like,
Communicator.
a communicator. He's like, "Hey, it's coming towards me, and it's starting to kill me and everything." You would have heard here's what you would have heard, Captain, can you hear me? Can you hear me above the sound of my phaser going off? Because I'm trying to torch this thing.
Yeah,
He didn't fire a single shot, but he had time to get on the communicator.
Yeah. It's for 1960s television. It's kind of the common thing. I mean, it's not. It wasn't just Star Trek. Almost every show has that moment where the guy with the gun in his hand is like, and dies. I mean, westerns, cop shows, you name it.
Well, it was.
It's a different time.
It's what the show did.
It's what the show did.
But these are trained individuals. Them phasers should have been. They should have been. I would have expected the guys to die with their phasers empty.
Right.
Empty.
Not empty. They wouldn't have time.
Empty. No. I would die clutching it. It's on the ground shooting off into a rock somewhere. Emptied.
Probably a better scene would have been they all start firing and it just doesn't work and it gets them anyway. That would have been a better scene for them. But they don't do that. They give you the moment of horror. They're conveying the fear and the scariness of the beastie.
I'm not afraid by cloud. Sorry.
You're afraid of cloud.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're afraid of cloud.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Nope.
You tremble when you upload things on your phone. You're afraid of the cloud.
I'm afraid of the cost of data usage, maybe.
Yeah, I think a lot of the fear came from Kirk's part of the storytelling versus, okay, it's a cloud.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I never felt the fear of it, even when I was a kid. And there's a scene later on where you're like, there's a beloved character and you think the individual's toast. Even then, as a kid, I knew there was plot armor. Like I knew that character wasn't going to go down.
Yeah, you don't even question. It's like that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
it does happen later.
Yeah,
but so like you said, Rizzo gets on the communicator and chokes for help. And Kirk and Spock come running, and they find 3 men down, 2 dead, but Leslie will be back.
Mm-hmm.
And Rizzo barely alive. Rizzo barely alive. They beam him back up to the ship. Kirk's having a fit. He's like, find this thing, scan.
Oh, man. Kirk is just...
And almost everybody on the bridge turns around and goes, but Captain.
That's later on.
No, that's pretty quick. When they beam up, Rizzo's alive barely. He's getting blood transfusions. As soon as Kirk leaves sickbay.
No, he's in sickbay.
Yeah.
He calls. McCoy sitting next to him.
Yeah.
And he goes to Spock, give me an update. And Spock goes, listen, I'll give you an update. But by the way, the USS Yorktown is unable to directly deliver the vaccines for some weird reason. So they got to meet us and hand us off
7
to
hours.
us. And by the way, there's all these people are going to die unless we do it. And then Scotty goes, cutting in here, Captain. We got less than 8 hours to rendezvous with the Yorktown.
Right.
And so they start piling up on him,
Yeah.
in the second scene.
People going to die.
Yeah.
People going to die, Captain. What you doing?
You know anybody on Theta?
Scotty cuts in on
I don't
Spock.
need
He
to
goes
know.
cutting in on you here.
There's a human who needs, and Kirk's preventing the need.
But there's a cloud monster.
I don't care about no cloud monster.
We got men down.
It's a cloud.
We got men down.
We already said all you got to do is write a report.
You act like
All you got to do is write a report and it's good.
you can just beam up and leave.
You can.
Can you?
Yes. You write a report. They got killed by some unnecessary monster, but we had to get to the Yorktown and deliver the vaccine to save millions of lives.
Put a pin in that and let's keep talking about this episode.
That's
I
it.
don't think this time it's going to work.
That's it.
I don't think it's going to work this
No,
time.
he needed a justification for not doing what he did. Because
Yeah.
what he was supposed to do was pack up ship, write a report on the two dead guys, and boogie it over to deliver that vaccine for that planet that needed it.
Right.
But
You got a planet that is in need, and you are holding up the show. That's what everybody on the ship was saying occurred.
Yep.
But don't forget, that's where that planet of the diamonds, the diamond substance is.
That doesn't matter.
You gonna warn-
We're going to get back to that in mind before we turn this report in anyway.
You're going to warn the survey team.
I'm going to come back and I'm going to mine that planet myself and put it in the ship's hole before I turn it over to the survey team.
Captain Goldfinger.
You better believe it. But right now we got to get the Yorktown and deliver that Theta virus
Captain
healer.
Captain Barbosa.
But see, that was the issue. Kirk wasn't doing what they expected.
Right.
The planet with the sick people are more important than whatever going on. Even these two dead crewmen.
Yeah, the sickness on Theta VII takes
We've already
precedence.
proved and tracked that a dead crewman means nothing. You write a report.
In the big picture. In the
Right.
big picture.
Well, we're talking starships. We're talking planets.
Right.
We're talking a planet with 1 billion people.
Well, yeah.
That's a small planet.
There's a lot of
We
planets.
got 9 billion here on Earth.
There's a lot of planets, Daystrom.
Well, you start to see where the episode title comes from, because this obsession. The first thing he's like is like, "Hey, can you wake this dude up?" And,
Yeah.
Of course, McCoy's like, "There's a danger doing that,
No,
Jim."
the obsession started at the smell of honey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had a flashback.
It reawoke.
He had a straight up flashback.
Of course he did.
It took him
We
right
watched.
back.
We watched him. They just didn't have the technology to show us the flashback. It would have been cool to see the flashback. Young Kirk on the.
Well, modern story, we would have. That's
would've got the
exactly
full-
what had
got
happened.
the full
Right.
flashback.
You would have got the ooh, and then there was this young guy, young Lieutenant Kirk would have been there, and we'd have got 15
Styles,
minutes.
Kirk, can you hear me? Fire! Kirk, can you hear me? Fire!
And we'd have got 15 minutes. We'd have got 15 minutes of people on the Farragut going down. Which but
I wonder why it stopped with the Farragut.
yeah, it was on a roll. I mean, why?
They killed 200 people.
Yeah,
Not a big enough bump. 200 people on Starship is nothing when you can go to a whole planet.
Yeah, I mean, it must have. I don't know why it. That
there's a whole lot of circumstances we don't have.
Yeah.
There's no way to say why it stopped or how they stopped, because they clearly didn't kill it.
yeah.
So why it left?
So the question, this is off. Let's just stick with the episode.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
How many starships
Why?
are going to be in that sector at any given time?
Why stop now? One.
Right. So when's the next time it's going to come across a starship? 11 years later. It's not worth it for it to look to starships. So just keep going from planet to planet, vamping people, super vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, since we're
We're
out,
me hanging out in space where there's endless nothing, and it's going to be every 11 years I might come across a starship.
Since we're out in left field, were there people on the planet before Kirk and company got there?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Probably was. And animals and everything else.
Just vamped them all?
Vamped them all.
Oh, okay.
Vamp.
Works better for the Federation. Now they can strip mine it.
Yep.
Okay, good. So, everybody's telling Kirk, hey, we're late for our date with the Yorktown.
Yep.
Kirk storms onto the bridge. Lieutenant Uhura is like, Starfleet's asking what the holdup is. Kirk completely ignores her.
Yeah. Says thank you, Lieutenant. Keeps walking.
Says, Lieutenant, get me a security officer, on-duty security officer up here. She's looking at him like, but boss. And he's like, nix.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the security officer. I don't want to hear it.
Because I want somebody here with a phaser to back up what I tell you people to do. 'Cause we going back and strip mining.
And is it Lieutenant or Ensign?
Ensign.
Garavik?
Garavik.
Yeah.
No stripes on the shirt.
No stripes on the shirt. But the son of Captain Garavik.
Yes.
Of the
Late-
USS Farragut.
Late of the Farragut.
Farragut.
What?
Kirk's first duty.
Yeah. Yeah. He said Garavik was his first captain out of the academy.
First.
And a good man.
So that means we didn't talk about it when we were watching it. That means Ensign Kirk reported to the Farragut and
Right out of the academy.
And left as Lieutenant Kirk, or theoretically left as Lieutenant Kirk.
Because his whole ship got vamped.
Well, he was Lieutenant Kirk before then.
Vamp.
Think House Spocula could have saved the day? So Kirk calls Garavik to the bridge, and they briefly mention what we were just talking about. He says, "Who's your dad?" And he goes, "Yeah, but I don't want any special treatment."
I love Kirk's answer.
He's like, "You weren't getting anyone in.
Care who your dad was.
Leave that pylon switch open. I'll send you packing." Kirk breaks down again. Kirk's very specific. He breaks down what she's looking for and how it should be handled, and he tells them, "Gather up 4 men with their phasers set appropriately, and we're going down there."
No, you're going down there.
Yeah.
I ain't going back down to that planet. You going down there. You going to exercise my revenge upon this beastie.
Type 2 phasers set for destruct.
First thing came to my mind is Moby Dick.
That probably wasn't by accident.
First thing that came to my mind. Then Wrath of Khan, which is a rip of Moby Dick.
Yeah. Well, when you get into revenge stories or obsession, if you're going to talk obsession, it's hard to beat Moby Dick.
It's hard to beat it.
Starbuck and Queequeg and all those good people. So 5 red shirts beam down to the planet. Phasers set on destruct, looking for trouble.
Splitting up, going in opposite direction.
Why do they do that?
Because it wouldn't matter if all of them were together.
The whole splitting up thing is just. Cover
more ground.
I know it's a movie and TV trope.
Cover more ground.
You don't do it unless you got a whole lot of people, and even then you don't really split up. You spread out, but you don't split.
One guy with a phaser can wipe out a whole lot of territory.
No, he can do a lot, but
Ergo Captain Tracy.
He can do a lot. But they split up, and Kirk does go. He goes.
Yeah, that's right.
6 total.
That's right.
Kirk takes 2. Garavik takes 2. Swenson and Bardoli are with Kirk, which is good for them.
Aim with the man.
A little gold shirt plot armor.
Aim with the man.
A little gold shirt plot armor spared their lives. But Garavik and the other 2 unlucky souls, of course. Again, same tricorder readings. It seems I was reading it and then I wasn't reading it. So was it baiting them? Or was it realizing they were looking and changing up?
I don't know. But think about this. You're on a ship. And this is something that's going in my mind because of Star Trek wants to do this lower deck stuff. You get guys going, hey, so-and-so's beaming down to the planet. Are we going to take bets on who's going to return? I bet the guy with the captain survived. What's your odds on the captain? I take 2-1. Guy with the captain going to come out. The guy go all by himself.
I think people only bet against their shipmates on your ship. That's not quite how it works. Not quite how it works, Daystrom. So, of course, the cloud appears. Garvik has a moment of hesitation, but he gets the shot off. To no effect. Two more red shirts down. I think this episode is the red shirt unalived champion.
Maximum red shirt casualty?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Definitely beats Devil in the Dark. Definitely beats Devil in the Dark. I think this is the most red shirts lost in one episode.
5, right? 5?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, because
all 3 of the first ones on the first landing party.
Yeah, because Rizzo ends up dying.
yeah, and the 2 guy here, 2.
Yeah.
2 out
it's
of
five.
the 3. It's 5.
It's 5. Yeah. So sad. That's why I want justice. Justice for the red shirts.
All right.
I want your cut to get justice for the red shirts.
Oh, where is it where they start talking about they put this in way ahead of time. Just out of nowhere, when they're talking to Scotty, I think they're beaming it up or this, that, and Scotty's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to leave a hatch open on one of the impulse engines or something.
Well, once Kirk delays them, Scotty says, well, since we're here and we're not leaving,
I'm going to do some maintenance.
I'm going to do maintenance on number 2 impulse intake.
Right. So he leaves it open.
So they end up leaving it open. Yeah, that's after Kirk's like, we're not going anywhere. Stop asking me about it.
Scotty said, while we sitting there doing nothing, I'm fixing the ship.
Yep. Well, Scotty was proving whose ship it really was. He's calling Kirk up, tapping his watch, talking about, aren't we supposed to be somewhere? I'm prepared to hit. I'm prepared to hit go. I just need you to say words.
You don't go until I tell you.
Oh no, Scotty said, I just need you to say words, and
I'm not going to say words. Go
I
back
do
to sit in your chair.
Yeah.
Go back to fixing something.
That's what really got him in trouble. It wasn't anybody. When he defied Scotty, that's when things began to move against him.
Kirk don't care about that other planet. I got a monster to kill.
Well, where does it come where Kirk's on the bridge and he goes, I'm tired of my senior officers conspiring against me?
That's when Scotty comes up to him and asks him a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they get back from the planet,
Yeah.
Scotty's like, Captain, we have to go meet the Yorktown. We're late. And Spock's questioning, Uhura's saying Starfleet is calling. Kirk snaps at everybody and says, look, do what I tell you. Stop conspiring against me.
No, he says, I'm getting tired of my crew conspiring against me, my senior officers. But he says, I'll take responsibility for all this. It's on my recognizance.
Right.
We ain't moving until I settle this issue.
He chews out Chekhov for being unable to find the creature on the scanners.
Well, remember, he says this. He goes, maybe I shouldn't have used the word conspire.
Right.
Yeah, he
And did you hear what
Scotty
said?
Scotty said, you shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have.
Right. So I say again, when he defied Scotty, that's when things went south for him. He was fine. Everybody else was taking it. Scotty said, you don't talk to me that way.
That's right.
Ship driver.
Ship driver.
I run it. You say words. I run things around here. Scotty rolled up on him real smooth, like, and checked him just real quiet. Like, yeah, you don't speak to me that way.
No.
You don't speak to me that way, you 10-plated dictator.
Yeah.
I run things around here. You didn't catch all that? You didn't see that byplay?
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't care because I'm killing me a beastie.
It's interesting. It's interesting in the writing in that the establishment of the characters up to this point. Scotty is the character that he respects Kirk. He's loyal to Kirk, but kind of in the vein of McCoy. Not in the vein of McCoy, because McCoy's Kirk's friend. Scotty beyond a certain point is like, look, dude.
Scotty's there for the ship.
Right. Scotty is not all in for the captain, and Scotty's willing to buck the captain.
Look, Scotty's profile is a simple scene. And I don't know if it was troubles with tribbles or whatever it was. Kirk's got them standing up to dress them down because they got in a fight with the Klingons.
That's trouble with
Tribbles.
Trouble with tribbles. And this is Scotty's entire character when it comes to his relationship with Kirk is in this one scene. He's like, they said that you were not a good person, blah, blah, blah.
Templated dictator.
Yep. And he said, and Kirk had a smile. He goes, that's when you hit him? And he goes, nope.
No, sir.
Nope.
No, I didn't
He
care
goes, well,
about
why
that.
did you hit him? He goes, they called the Enterprise a garbage scow.
Yeah.
Like, you can badmouth
The captain.
Kirk
all you
want.
I won't blink.
He's not blinking. He's like, nah, I'm a senior officer. I'm not going to have an interstellar incident because they're bad-mouthing you. But when you talk about my ship,
Yeah, heads are going to roll.
yeah. But I thought that was a great bit of character.
Development.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was like a reveal of
character
Scotty
reveal.
saying, yeah, you shouldn't have said that. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's pretty bold.
Yeah. Yeah, Scotty's probably correct in the right way, but Scotty's checking him. Scotty's kind of the first person to go, hey man. You know, everybody else is like, Captain, you're deviating. You know, we have someplace to be. It's, you know, we're a little behind schedule. What are we doing? Scotty's like, hey, you're tripping.
Yeah.
You know,
And when Kirk tries an apology, and I don't know if it was an apology, maybe it was just an
a little
explanation.
a retraction.
A retraction. I shouldn't use the word conspire. He's like, no, you shouldn't have.
Right.
You know, don't worry about it, Jim. It's okay. You know,
No.
forget about it, Captain. He's like, no, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, you're out of. You tell him you're out of line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Before we move from this point, in today's writing, would we have heard Scotty
Oh, hell no.
make that statement?
in today's
I agree.
writing, it would have been some over the top.
No, it just would have blocked. Just would have let it go on.
Maybe, but to me, equal chance that they do some over the top thing where Scotty gets completely out of line and almost has a fist fight with Kirk over it, and gets dismissed from the bridge or something. They would have went like nth degree with it and just took it really over the top. I could see either or. I could see nothing being said and everybody just kind of goes along with it.
Everybody cowering.
I could see that, but I could also see them having Scotty just be like this overblown, out of control, you know.
Well, you know,
scene.
there's all these myths that you hear about, like Sir William would count how many lines he had compared to somebody else. And, you know, if the part was better to be written a certain way, he got involved or anything. Just the idea that Sir William would have allowed James Doohan to have that line that basically, when you look for it and you listen for it, and he says, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Like that's a big deal.
That's a bold statement.
That's challenging that command authority, like pretty, and you know, in the way that Scotty does it, which is very matter of fact. Like if you're going to trip, well, then we will.
We can all fall down that road with you.
Yeah, we can go there if you want to.
Right.
Yeah.
And almost on cue, they change scenes, and Spock rolls into McCoy's office and says, "Hey, I need your opinion." And
Well, before that, when Kirk is on the bridge, he tells Spock about the beast, and he
Creature.
says, "McCoy's already perusing this file. You need to go look at this
Go
file
look at it,
with
right.
him."
right,
And then Spock asks Chekhov to take over,
take over the scan.
and then he
right.
goes to check out McCoy.
Right.
Mhm.
What really happened is Scotty gave Spock the high sign. And
Yeah.
set things in motion. That's really what happened. It's the beginning of the end, Captain.
Yeah.
Well, they're definitely going to challenge him because he deserves to be challenged.
Yeah.
Because what he's doing, it's a matter of priority.
Mm-hmm.
And the starship captain should be relatively easy for him to figure out what is priority and what isn't.
Yeah.
This one beast on this one planet or this other planet with thousands of people on it.
And to your point, kind of taking some of the joke out of it, realistically in this scenario, file a report. There's a creature, appears to be the same creature encountered 11 years ago, highly dangerous, possibly on this planet or in the vicinity of this planet. We're going off to the Yorktown, and if he's really that hot and bothered about it come back later. He can probably get permission to come back.
He don't need permission to come back.
Yeah, he probably can turn around and come back later.
Well, I think one of the things that we saw with Kirk in this is that his obsession was keeping him from being in a position to explain his actions. He was just shutting people down. Like when Uhura was saying, Starfleet's called, he's like, thank you, and walks past her. Yeah. He's like, he's not offering any explanations because at this point, I think, and they actually did a voiceover. Like, when's the last time I don't even remember seeing a voiceover.
I disagree with not offering explanation. Explanation was in his report on the Farragut. He said, other than me trying to explain it to you, read the report on the Farragut. This is what I know. This is what happened 11 years ago. This is what I perceive that's happening now. Read the report on the Farragut.
It's a strong argument to do something different. You're getting just a touch ahead with the voiceover. Spock makes his way down to McCoy. Says, "Have you seen this other report?" McCoy's like, "I've skimmed it. I'm just getting into it." Spock's like,
"It's mutiny."
Yeah, Spock's like,
"It's mutiny."
Spock's like, "Well, thankfully, I'm superior and I've read the whole thing and check this section out. It's relevant and this is why the captain's tripping." But Spock's asking McCoy, he's like, I need your opinion. Kirk's clearly off his rocker, and Spock says he's obsessed. What are we doing? And McCoy's like, I don't know yet. Then to your point, Jake, that's when they cut to Kirk and they're doing the monologue of his log.
Right.
And what I like about this, there's a progression.
Oh, you're right. It wasn't a log. Okay, yeah.
It was his captain's log voiceover.
Yeah.
But what I like about this is there's a progression here. Initial reaction, emotion, purely we got to kill this thing, over the top, out of character for him. But as the episode progresses, starting at this point, he is questioning himself. He's kind of like, am I tripping? Am I wrong? Is this really what I think it is?
But he's got a gut feeling.
But he's got a strong feeling, and he's not going to let it go. But what I like about how they're handling it, he doesn't, again, modern writing. This otherwise stable, reliable person just doesn't suddenly lose it and stay crazy for the whole episode. There's an initial reaction, and then he begins to, with the help of counsel, he begins to come back
to mitigate.
Right. And having the wherewithal or having the awareness to kind of question himself. Am I right?
Yeah, I think, if we're to the point where McCoy shows up to his cabin and
that's where he is.
Yeah, McCoy's first approach is
but he don't bring drinks, man.
Hey, Jim.
No Romulan ale this time.
Jim, you okay? What's going on? And then Kirk snaps at him, and then McCoy's like, I'm getting ready to fill out my report. And you see it in Kirk's face. He's like, golden boy is going to get his first record blemish.
First thing, Kirk thinks he's talking about the young
Garevik.
Yeah.
Because we kind of glazed over it. He confines Garevik to quarters after the incident where Garevik hesitates to fire.
Right. Well, he brings him in front of his seniors officers and questions them, and he's like, maybe I hesitated.
No, he was questioning him about the monster, trying to get information about the monster.
The facts of the case.
The facts of what happened at where 2 crewmen died. But Garevik hems and haws about, hey, I shot late or I might have missed. And Kirk's like, well, whoa. I want the monster dead and you missed?
Didn't I say shoot immediately?
Right. Didn't I say
shoot on
So
sight?
Kirk gets upset with Garevik because it would have been over if Garevik would have, in Kirk's mind, if Garevik would have done what he told him to.
But in inflection, the reason Kirk's reacting so strongly is because he's projecting.
That's secondarily.
All right.
That's secondary. That's that's the meat underneath. That's the bulk of the iceberg underneath the water.
Mm-hmm.
On the surface of it, I want to know what happened with the monster. What happened with these two crewmen? Oh, you effed up? You didn't do what I told you to do? Told you cloud, told you smell, and you didn't start blasting right away? He's diverted from the monster now to this dude messing up. Because now 2 crewmen are dead.
Right.
Under the surface, he feels the same thing. People do this all the time. When they have done something wrong, they project it onto somebody else.
Make it
The
someone else's fault.
consequences of their own actions.
Right.
They dump it on somebody else.
Yeah. You didn't clean up my mess. You hesitated.
I set you up to clean this up.
Right.
And
Well,
you-
and you know, let's give credit to the writers. Like, who is a higher stakes person than
Right. Then Garvik
Garvik? Because that's
killed his dad.
yeah. Kirk's also.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing.
Garvik should be more fired up.
He should be more fired.
They don't really give you that kind of, but
That's Styles crap from Balance of Terror, where my dad served. Remember the chip he had on his shoulder? They didn't give that to this guy. He didn't have the chip on his shoulder that his dad was killed by this.
Right.
Well, depending on Starfleet, he might not have been told.
That's true.
no, he knew his father had died.
Yeah,
He may not have
that's-
known the specific.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. He
he-
knew they told him his dad died.
Well, no,
They didn't-
I
they
mean
probably didn't tell him
the specifics.
specifics.
He might
but
not
then-
have heard the specifics
That's
up till
right.
now. Again, I guess it clicked in my head. They didn't give it to you, and I guess it's again modern writing. We would have had a whole segment.
Yes.
Oh, an
where
episode.
Garvik, Garvik's standing there looking in the mirror, talking about, "I'm gonna get him for you, Dad," or something. There would have been some over the top thing where Garvik was more bloodthirsty about it than Kirk.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, I was a bit uncomfortable when they cut to him and he kind of throws himself on his bed and
Cries.
in a swan of despair, and I mean, it's. I was expecting him to
No,
punch a wall
no,
or something.
I'll give that to him because this is Starfleet, buddy. Your career is over.
Okay.
Your career,
Your-
career
your-
is
your-
over.
You're right. Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
Your-
You're
We're
right.
Marines.
Yeah,
We
you're
are
leaving.
No. No, hey man, is it too late to go to truck driving school?
What was that, Truckmaster?
Truck master. What was the number of that school?
Your career is over.
You are a young ensign,
and it's over.
and the captain just confined you to quarters.
Relieved of all duties.
It's over.
First space station with a Federation flag flying over it, you are off.
It's an old movie called The Paper Chase, and this one guy's a professor, and
Kingston. Professor Kingston.
Yeah, and he goes, here's a dime. Call your mother and tell her you'll never be a reporter, something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, man, your career is over.
Mr. Wallace, here's a dime. Call your mother. Let her know you'll never be a lawyer. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess I didn't see it that way, but that's.
no,
I'm like, oh, his feelings are hurt.
Yeah, I'd be hurt too.
Poor baby.
yeah. No,
He's like, career's over.
he's like, it's like, this is it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I failed. And under different circumstances,
Yeah, this was not a good episode for the son of.
of Garvik.
Yeah, Captain Garvik, because later on he's takes a little liberties with the captain too. So.
Well, he did want to get revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, that's what I mean. They give it to you, but it's not this over the top thing. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's very lightly handed.
Yeah. So we get back to where McCoy's confronting Kirk, and Kirk tries to push back like, I'm the captain. And McCoy plays that I'm the doctor card.
I'm about to file a report.
I bring captains down. I file a report and captains go down.
He says, my report's not filed yet, but I need a senior member of the
fleet.
Before you get to that, Kirk comes at him like, because McCoy's McCoying.
Yep.
He's speaking plainly, and Kirk
Yep.
doesn't like it. Kirk says, "You pushing our friendship." He says, "Oh no,
It's not friendship.
I'm here as a professional.
Oh yeah.
This is my report.
Yeah.
I'm doing a physical and psychological evaluation on a Starfleet captain."
That's
and
right.
Kirk goes, "Oh."
You can see it in his face.
Kirk's like, "Oh."
Kirk's that far from the Decker, that far from the Tracy.
Like, oh.
That's right.
That far
Oh,
the President.
he was in Tracy Decker orbit.
McCoy pulls out that I knocked down captain's card that every doctor's holding. Did it to Decker.
And then the drama is, and he goes, and I need a fleet level officer.
He turns
stands
to the
door.
He walks.
Spock is McCoy's bully boy.
Spock walks in and McCoy goes right behind him.
He does. He steps aside so Spock can
think I know that.
He steps right behind
He
him
does.
like, go ahead, get him, Spock. I got your back.
And the look on Kirk's face is like, oh, wow. They're really doing this to me.
Yeah, he's like,
And Kirk's mad. He's like, Kirk goes from like, oh wow, to oh wow, they really. But something hit me about this. The line of questioning when Spock comes in and starts talking to Kirk, he's like, "So, Captain, are we to understand that we're going to neglect the mission and you're doing X, Y, Z?"
No, he says, listen, we're going to do this by the manual.
Right.
And by the manual, I'm going to ask you questions.
Yeah.
And you're going to answer them.
Kirk's like, "Okay, that's the book.
That's the book.
That's the book. Let's do the book."
We do the book.
But when Spock starts questioning him, it hit me. The scene from Mirror Mirror, when evil Spock looks at Captain Kirk, good Kirk, pretending, looks at Captain Kirk and goes, "Am I to understand that you don't intend to kill the Hulkins?" It was the same thing.
Yeah, it was.
It was like it's what we talked about before. Those two universes aren't that far apart.
They're not that far apart.
Aren't that far apart.
And you see another camera angle. You see Spock's hand slowly dropping down
To that knife.
That Type 2 phaser.
No, he's got all of a sudden he's got the mirror knife. He's got the mirror knife. He's like, "Are you not going to rendezvous with the Yorktown?" and Kirk's sliding over toward the wall like
He's trying to get to the
Talus
field.
field.
Yeah, but so Kirk goes, hold on, skip all this by the book. Get to the question.
Ask me the question.
Ask me the question.
Right.
So he's asked him the question, and Kirk goes through his thinking in what justifies his actions.
Right.
That his actions are reasonable, and as Kirk starts to give it to you, this is where you get the story.
Right.
The Yorktown or the Farragut didn't meet the creature on a planet.
Met him in space.
In space.
And killed 200 people.
1,000 light years away.
Yeah, and killed 200. It killed half the crew.
Killed half the crew. This is not just an average monster.
No.
This is a super space vampire.
Super
A transwarp monster.
a transwarp vampire, and we gotta trace it back to his house and put a stake in his heart.
That's it.
And that's what I was getting at earlier. After Kirk's emotional outburst, where he's clearly kind of unstable, they give you his inner monologue through the log, and he's kind of questioning himself. But then when they confront him, it brings him back in line a little bit. But then he says, "Hold on, guys. This is my."
I won't say he's unstable. He's upset.
Yeah, he's having an emotion.
So
he's having an emotional reaction you usually don't see from him.
Yeah, he's not taking time to explain it.
Right. He's just saying,
He's
"Do
just
it."
upset, and he's saying, "Do it. Go check the freaking file.
Right.
It's there.
Right.
Read it.
And McCoy admits he didn't read it.
Read it.
Right. McCoy never read it. Well, McCoy waited for Spock to bring him the Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
But
It's good to know. It's good to know that Spock knows McCoy's study habits.
Kirk's obsession is because they don't know why he put the creature's value above the value of the planet. That
the mission to Theta VII.
The mission to give the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to die. Kirk's thinking more people will die from this creature if we don't put it down now.
Yeah.
Than it will than the people who need the vaccine.
Right.
Because as of today, ain't nothing we can do have stopped it.
Right.
We need to stop this thing now.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it almost comes off. For me, it came off like Kirk has a valid concern, but his logic's a little thin still.
You know what? I think that
weighed against the mission to Theta VII.
One of the things we haven't considered is that when it comes to this creature, Kirk's obsession about its intelligence,
yes,
and the connection that was made with it, because as we go through the story, there's going to be a point where Kirk almost admits to a sort of telepathic connection. because he says, I heard this word.
Well, yeah, and he questioned Garevik heavily, like, they questioned Garevik heavily, did anything it did give you the impression it was intelligent? And Garevik was just like, man, no, it was a monster, and it was killing us,
Yep.
you know.
So what you have is when Kirk gives the story, because we don't get to read the file. Kirk actually has to give us the monologue of what happened. Well, he was on the Farragut, and this thing was coming. He was supposed to fire phasers at it. He didn't, and he passes out. Kirk passes out.
Yeah, he's a partial victim of
He was attacked by it. Because that's when it touches him. That's when he feels
it touches
Right.
him, but it doesn't drain him. It kills half the crew, including the captain.
Mm-hmm.
But he's had a direct contact with it.
Maybe it was full.
All you know is he passes out, and there's a mind meld.
There's a touching of the presence. Yeah,
It's almost like, remember with the Gary episode with their Esper rating, it's almost like somehow Kirk has this residual
imprint,
psychic imprint of it, which he is able to access later on in the episode.
Yeah,
and that might be part of the chemical imbalance of his obsession, because when he's being questioned by McCoy and Spock, there's a point where his face almost relaxes.
Mm-hmm.
And he almost, when he's telling the story, he doesn't seem to be as clutched up about it like he was before. And I think he's starting to understand maybe a little bit more, because he says something at some point when Spock says, we're scanning for this thing, but we're not picking up any dichromate. He goes, it's possible it could be changing the way that it exists and its chemical makeup. And Spock and
Spock's like, if it can do that.
Well, Kirk kind of stumbles forward towards the camera and holds himself, and he's like, I never thought of that. That never occurred to me that it could change that much.
Yeah.
So who knows? They could have been doing a mind job.
So the justification comes after Kirk gives his reasoning, and the next thing you know, you hear from the PA.
It's leaving.
The
It's
creature's
leaving the
out in space already,
It's leaving the planet.
and it is booking.
Kirk-
It is booking, and they still go, well, it might not be intelligent. Come on. Come on.
Kirk's like, put the hammer down.
Come on. You can't even keep up with it in Warp 7.
Eight.
They max it out. So, yes, the creature leaves the planet and takes off. The Enterprise is pursuing it at its maximum possible speed, which is dangerous.
And the creature's still getting away.
And the creature is pulling away.
It's a Warp 8 vampiric intelligent cloud.
Apparently, it's at least a warp 8.5.
8.5.
Because it's pulling distance on him.
Pulling distance.
And Scotty's telling Kirk flat out, we will explode if we maintain this speed.
Scotty, once again, has good news for Kirk. He's like,
we ain't catching it.
we ain't catching it.
We probably don't want to catch it.
Right. Well, he doesn't say that.
What happened to Ahab when he caught the white whale?
He died.
Nothing good.
Didn't turn out good for him.
Well, he got away from it all.
Didn't turn out good for him.
So they're pulling warp 8. Kirk doesn't want to stop. Scotty's looking at him like, we are going to blow up.
Doesn't Spock tell him it's pulling away, even at warp 8?
Yeah, he does.
He's like, yeah.
They're not gaining.
Longer. Yeah.
So Kirk reluctantly drops them down to warp 6, which by the old specifications is like their safe maximum speed.
Right.
7 and 8 is dangerous. The creature
slows down.
The creature drops it down to warp 2 and turns around, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah.
In between that, you know, while the engines are maxed out and we're probably going to explode, they cut to Garevik's quarters. And Nurse Chapel
bringing him some soup.
Is bringing him some soup and crackers, and he's like, quit your crying, boy. Everything will be all right. Garevik's like, don't you know my career is over?
That's right.
You don't understand.
You know what's under that soup bowl? My career.
My career. Yeah.
Gone.
She's like, quit your pity party. Eat some food.
And he was expecting that Will Decker fast track to captainhood.
Yep.
Because Commodore Decker bought it, and then Will Decker came up. So
yeah.
Same thing with Kirk, right? Kirk's dad was a captain, right?
No,
that was in the alternate.
Yeah. In the original series,
His
Kirk
dad was a researcher.
his family were civilians.
Okay.
because Kirk's brother's in the original series in an episode we have not done yet.
Oh yeah.
I like that one too.
That's not
But-
bad.
Operation Annihilate. But Chapel's telling Garvik, dry your tears. It's going to be all right. You got to eat something. And she's like, oh, by the way, the ship might explode.
Mm-hmm.
Garvik's like, what? He's kind of like, what's happening? He's like, we're chasing the creature. We might blow up. Kirk's tripping. Eat your soup.
Everybody's worried. Kirk's tripping. We might blow up.
Yeah, eat your soup.
All good.
Garvik's like, I don't want any soup. And she whips out a data card, and she's like, these are Dr. McCoy's written orders for you to eat your soup, or some friends of yours probably will come in here and force you down to sick bay, and you will be fed intravenously. And she walks out feeling like, she's coached the young man.
Yeah, I would have let that scene on the cutting room floor, but that's
No,
okay.
it's character building for Chapel. He had to throw a bone.
Yeah,
He had
we
to throw a
know
bone to
why.
his wife.
Yeah,
It's a surprisingly good Nurse Chapel scene.
Yeah, he had to throw a bone to his wife, man.
But in the context of the story, it's like, okay, we're warp 8, we're hammered down, warp 8, and we're going to Garvik's quarters to have soup.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's good for the plot for Garvik,
Yes.
and it does throw a bone to Nurse Chapel,
Yeah.
former number 1.
So
now
Are they going to get a shot off at it?
this becomes a horror movie.
always was.
Monster problems. Monster
No,
problems.
This was a regular Star Trek monster up until this point. Garvik.
What are you talking about? It already took out half of a starship.
No. Everybody missed up to this point. Kirk hesitated. Garvik missed.
Oh yeah.
Rizzo didn't shoot.
Yeah. No,
This is a regular Star. This is a regular Star Trek monster.
I know
up
where
to
you're going
this
with
point.
it. Yeah. Up until now, it's just wily. Now it's going to become trans-dimensional.
Enterprise hits the brakes. This thing swings around like supper time,
That's right.
coming straight at a starship.
Don't care either.
Chekhov hits it with all there is to hit it with.
They threw the kitchen sink at it too.
Max Phaser.
So they go.
Exactly.
Hold on. They go to red alert. Garvik, because he gets mad, he throws the
throws
soup
the
bowl,
soup and,
opens
breaks his air conditioner.
Breaks his air conditioner.
He runs up, runs to the bridge like he gonna do something, and then Kirk's standing behind Chekhov and goes, "Hit it, boy, hit it." Garvik's looking. Kirk's like, "Oh yeah, hit it, Chekhov, hit it."
Maximum phasers.
Yeah.
Barrage of photons.
No, but maximum
They don't even
phasers.
show the effects of the photon.
Maximum phasers. The thing just goes whoop whoop. Phasers miss. Spock's like, it's phasing in and out of. It's phasing in and out of. It's phasing in and out of. Basically, it's phasing in and out of reality. It's physical. It's energy. It's physical. It's energy. It seems to. It seems to travel on gravimetric wave, and Kirk's looking at Spock like, what? Kirk's got his hand on Chekhov like, keep shooting, boy, and he looks at Spock kind of over his shoulder like, what does all that mean? And Spock's basically saying to him, it's invincible.
That's right.
and Spock's like, if this is true, we got nothing.
We're done. We're done.
Kirk has Chekhov fire a danger close full spread of photon torpedoes.
Rocks the ship.
They don't work if they're any closer.
Rocks the ship.
Pull the fail safes off those things.
And nothing happens, and it's like, that's it.
Yeah. This
Cancel.
On top of that, Scotty left open the chute.
Yeah. Chekhov sitting there talking about, we're reading. No, but Chekhov tells me, it's like, we're reading impulse vent number 2 is still open. Kirk's like, never mind, shoot.
But the thing is, if you can trans-dimensional, do you need a chute to get in
No,
there?
it's coming through. It's coming through the wall.
It would have come through the wall.
It's coming through the wall. But no, it gets worse. It's actually worse. It's actually worse. Danger close photon strike. Nada. Zip. Nothing in the show. Just. Oh, except for Nomad. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
We got to get around to him too.
Yeah.
Ray Shields
deflectors.
Well, same.
Yeah.
They didn't start calling them shields till later. Spock looks at Kirk even as they're doing it.
Nope.
It's not going to work. Kirk's like, what are you talking about? And Spock says, not the whole energy physical thing. Spock says, if it runs by gravimetrics, blah, 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 it's going to zip right through the shields. And it does.
Yep. Guess who's coming to dinner?
Spock turns into a droid from another movie and goes, I'll be fine. You all
That's right.
are going to die.
That's right.
But so now it's on the ship. And it's, don't talk to me about hand phasers anymore. Forget it. Go get the phaser rifle. Do whatever you want to do. Cap off some photon grenades in the hallway. I don't care.
Spock turns to Kirk and tells him flatly. He said, nothing you did back then
would have made any difference.
Because nothing we did right now
made any difference.
Your little hand phaser, whatever you had, you delaying wouldn't have changed nothing.
And Kirk said, quit trying to make me feel better. I want to be angry.
Quit minimizing my trauma.
That's right.
No, Kirk
you don't know what it is to
Kirk
be me.
was like, I'm worried about the ship right now. Because the invincible vampire is here, and we got to deal with it.
They're like, what happened? It's like, what showed up in engineering, killed a couple of cats, and dove into the air system.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, this is what got me, and I never paid attention to this before. Okay, seal the air system. That's bad. Scotty looks at him and goes, okay, we now have 2 hours of air.
Right.
That's bad. But this was worse. Flood the air system with radiation. Dump the waste from the engines.
And what does Scotty say? He's like, what a stupid idea.
Dump the waste from the engines into the venting system that we eventually have to reopen. I didn't remember that before. I was like,
well, they can clear it.
Yeah.
Apparently. Because Scotty was not sweating. And he was like, click.
Yep.
Why is there a button for that?
Yeah.
Somebody tell me.
You got to murder everybody on your ship.
Somebody tell me why there's a button for that.
In case you got to murder everybody on your ship.
Why is the air system in the waste,
in case you got to murder everybody on your ship.
You installed that, didn't you?
Yep.
You installed that.
Sure did.
You don't want to share the diamonds.
And you would have think, I mean, we know the discipline of the crew and everything, but you would think there would have been a little bit more of a, this thing's inside now. It was just kind of like, well, we'll have to figure this out.
Remember, we're running down on episode time. They ain't got time for the crew to be upset.
They got time for the crew to react to this.
Jake wanted that hallway shot of people running frantically.
That's right.
Down the hallway.
They did give enough time for Spock to go down to Garvik's quarters
and give him a pep talk.
And give him a pep talk.
Well,
because Kirk, Spock. you don't want my pep talk, Kirk. I'll go down here to this guy, this junior guy who
You know what the creepiest thing about that was? Now that I view it as an adult, or at least I'm older than when I was a kid. I would say I'm an adult. When you walk in there, Garvik is laying kind of like in a swan of dispose, and he's just Spock walks in and he goes to get up, and Spock just waves him off. It's like you can keep laying on your bed. I'm gonna talk to you while you're laying on your bed.
Yeah.
That was a little creepy to me.
Yeah, if it had been a female character, that'd have probably been over the line.
Yeah,
it'd been inappropriate. But it wasn't. So let's
Count Spock.
Spock's like, listen, I'm gonna give you the same speech that Kirk did, and hopefully it'll work on you. Get over it.
Get over it.
Get over it. I'm going to probe your mind.
I know this creature. We are related.
No, but like to your point though, Spock's like, this is good material. Somebody's gonna hear this.
That's right.
That's exactly what I thought. You don't want it. The kid gets it.
He can't say no. He can't say no.
Non-consent.
Thank you, Mr. Spock.
Ensign, sit down. I'm gonna drop some word on you.
That's right. Preach.
So Spock says. So Spock lays it out for him. Garvik, there was nothing you could do. Your hesitation was meaningless. It's indestructible, it's invincible, and it's in the air conditioner.
And we're all dead.
And we're all going to die.
You're gonna die.
So cheer up. Everything's fine. You should have ate your soup.
Yeah, don't worry about your career. 'Cause
Don't
none of us going to be alive for you to have one.
You will posthumously...
Don't you feel better?
You will posthumously be promoted to lieutenant.
Your daddy would have been proud of you.
Yes. And of course now, because Garvik has broken the air conditioner
With a soup bowl.
with a soup bowl, what are those switches made of? I don't...
They're Jaguar switches.
I guess.
Cheap.
So while they're having their pep talk and while Garvik's getting to that point where he says knowing is half the battle, and they play the music.
Well, Garvik says to Spock as it's coming in, he goes, "Oh, it's probably coming in here because I broke the switch."
Yeah.
I was waiting for Spock to backhand him and go, "You should have got it fixed."
On second thought,
Now, remember what I told you about you not being at fault? Now you
are.
are.
Now you are. It is now your fault, Garvik.
Spock,
Not firing the phasers is one thing, but not fixing the broken switch.
Spock threw him out of the room like a sack of
He
potatoes.
did.
I know.
He did throw him.
and locked him out of his bedroom.
Yeah.
The door closes
To do what?
to look at his unmentionables.
Spock, like a boss, stood at the vent, trying to cover it with his hands.
Hands.
Like
There was a pillow.
Like a boss.
There was a pillow there he could have put over it. but-
I never questioned that scene when I was a kid, but when I saw it tonight, I was like, "That's dumb."
Your hands can't cover the vent. What's the point?
If I'd have bought it if he had grabbed a pillow
Yeah,
or
yeah.
a blanket or something. He goes, "Whoop," and it's like, "You're done. It's over."
I knew as a kid he wasn't going to die. I knew he wasn't going to.
Well, yeah, it's Spock.
Yeah, it was Spock.
It's Spock.
Yeah.
And it's not completely illogical because green-blooded hobgoblin.
Yeah. Copper instead of iron in his hemoglobin.
I don't understand. This creature is able to change his molecular structure. Couldn't it have changed his molecular structure to eat up hemoglobins of copper?
Remember what happened to you the first time you had Thai food? You wasn't ready. You were not ready.
It can change its molecular structure. It can phase in and out. It can change its scent. It can
surfs on gravity,
by
transwarp.
all logic, it should be able to eat what it wants to eat.
It was kimchi, bro. You just wasn't ready. You wasn't
nah,
ready.
dude. Nah, dude.
You wasn't ready.
This is a plot fault.
No. Second time he meets Spock, Spock's done. He adjusts. This creature adjusts, but that first time he's like, first time he's like, "What is this?
You humans taste bad."
Yeah, what is this? What is this? But no, what actually, you could say what saves Spock is they reverse the vent flow, and the creature is sucked back into the vent. Now,
Well, we don't want to go there and spend too much time on it, but you figure, if you can airflow it and this thing can surf gravity at warp 8,
how can it not resist air?
Yeah, there's some physics.
Another
there.
plot hole.
Yeah.
Right.
Good story, but plot holes are starting to show up quick.
Yeah.
Now, the radiation in the vent system, which
They say seems to
be working.
It's left the ship.
Now I got another question. Garvik's vent was broken. Shouldn't Garvik have been glowing in the dark when Spock got
Garvik is dying of cancer at some point.
Shouldn't Garvik have been glowing in the dark?
Don't worry about cancer. The last time he beamed up, they have that buffer pattern.
Oh, that's true. They would have got
He'll
himself.
He'll be good.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
He'll be good.
Everything's
Number one
fine.
doctor.
But here
transporter.
we go. Here's where Kirk goes into the room and he's like, "The smell is different." And
Yes.
Well, first Kirk rushes down there. They all come because Garvik gets on the mic, say, "Hey, it's down there in my room and Spock's dead." So they all come running down and they're all getting ready. Kirk goes, "Wait. Don't open it yet."
Garvik goes, "Better get down here. Better hurry."
Says, "Wait, don't open it yet." and Count Spocula comes stepping out of
No,
the fog.
no, wait. But what's with the red shirt? What's with the red shirt with the
Hair dryer.
with the special hair dryer,
Yeah.
which we've seen before as an engineering tool? But
Yeah.
he's rolling up on the door like I'm about to blast. it.
No, I think he's there to measure the radiation because to your point,
Yeah.
if Garavic's been bathing in
Yeah,
it
yeah.
for the past few hours.
Garavic's Dr. Manhattan now.
Yeah.
But so they all stacked up at the door, and I don't know if there should have been less people or more people. Let me get this straight: the AC's broken. There's radiation in the vent, and the monster's in there.
And none of y'all in suits.
Oh, and Kirk stops him. Hold on, now wait before we open that door.
Like Spock could be dying in there.
Yeah, but if you think of Wrath of Khan, right, it's exactly the opposite scene.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I wonder if Meyer knew that when he was writing Star Trek 2.
He's a smart man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But this is where Kirk goes into the room and he's like, smells different. Smells
Yeah.
like Brute by Fabergé.
Yeah, it
That's
smells like.
after Spock comes out and goes,
Yeah.
my copper blood, you didn't like it very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And McCoy made the joke about bad taste, and Spock goes, yeah, that's about right.
That's about right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to live. You are not.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
then Kirk goes in there and he goes, a different smell, and I think I'm getting an insight.
I'm getting
Yeah.
a vibe.
Yeah. Now he says it.
I'm
He
getting
says it at some point. He goes, I heard in my head, home,
Home.
Home.
I felt the vibe was home.
home.
And I think I know where home is.
Yeah.
And they're looking at him like, you are nuts.
Oh, so far everything he's proven to be true.
Well-
this is a warp 8.5
At least.
monster
Warp 9 monster.
that can't be dealt with phasers, can't be dealt with photon torpedoes. This thing is a serious threat. It might as well be the Doomsday Machine,
It's worse than the Doomsday Machine.
right? 'Cause
Well, they used the same thing to kill it. So,
it might as well be worse than the Doomsday Machine. So everything Kirk said to justify him not going to do his mission
to meet up with the Yorktown.
proves to be the right choice.
Yeah. But wait, there's more.
Of course, there always is.
Well, at this point in the story, we all kind of agreed this is enough. Really?
Oh, no, you need more.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, this is.
But for
yeah.
1999, we can give
Yeah.
you 2. We can give you twice as much.
Yeah.
Oh no, you need 1,000.
Twice as much monster.
They go to
multiply it by 1,000.
They go to commercial break and they come back and they're on the bridge and Spock is sitting there.
He
And
says, if it's going home,
if it's going home
it might be
to spawn,
to spawn. Don't know where that came
don't
from.
know where they came from, and there'll be 1,000 of them.
When they scanned it, had a round belly. Don't know. Don't know where that came from. Sorry. We love Trek, but we're talking about the writing, and the writing went left here.
Well, they needed justification,
And they already had it, though.
They already had
it.
They already had it.
but they went over the top with it. So
Well, they were trying to heighten, and it's like,
yeah,
you know.
they went over the top with it because they went over the top with it.
Yeah.
Let's just put it.
Don't
that
know
way.
why. Yeah.
You could say why they one for the character of Kirk. He needed legitimate cover because he went off the rails. So to preserve the character, he has to be justified, and they just didn't want to just give him plausible justifiability. They wanted to make sure that the witnesses or the audience 100% agreed with Kirk being off the rails in this case, that he was justified, and the representation of the monster birthing 1,000 of its like yeah, you
And
burn
va-
100 planets
And vamping the universe.
and vamping the universe. Burn 100 planets.
His gut and 206 bodies wasn't enough.
Nope.
Yep.
All right.
Well, at least in the thoughts of the writers, it wasn't enough.
Well, rocking on then. So, fission. Thousands of cloud vampires. How do we stop it?
We nuke a planet.
No. We go back to the engine room. First we had radiation waste, but wait, there's more. We have antimatter.
Yes.
They pull 1 ounce of antimatter in a bottle.
And Garrity's duty station appears to be standing behind Kirk on the bridge at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's told to return to duty, and he says, "Thank you, sir." And
Yeah.
now Garvik's hanging out on the bridge cause
Unknown reasons.
they didn't have time to call him. He had to be there. Antimatter, bottle of plasma. We're gonna bait it and we're gonna blast it.
Good plan.
Good plan. Solid plan.
Kirk should have looked at the duty roster and go, "Who was the guy that they put in the pod in the ion storm?"
Oh yeah.
Jimmy. No,
Not Finnegan.
Finnegan.
I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah.
But Kirk goes, antimatter bomb and plasma. I'm doing it.
Hopefully that'll kill it.
Yeah. Throwaway line. Spock just happens to mention, hey, that's going to be a little tricky. The bomb's going to burn off half the planet's atmosphere, and the transporter may not work perfectly under those conditions. And it's going to be tight timing. Kirk goes, no problem.
Barely an inconvenience.
Shout out to that content creator. And kind of goes, so who wants to carry the antimatter down to the planet with me? And
No, it doesn't say that. They say, well, Spock says, the transporter.
I should go. Yeah.
Yeah, the transporter might not work. I should go because I got copper blood.
Yeah.
Kirk's like, no, Doc. I got to see this through personally.
Well, Kirk says no. If this doesn't work,
Yeah, I need you to think
because
up
to your
something.
point, they're not sure. Antimatter bomb, and they're not sure.
Why couldn't you should be able to phase through that.
I don't know how it sloughed off the photon torpedoes, but that's
Hey,
just me.
Hey,
Tell Spock, hey, I need you up here for plan B in case it doesn't work. Basically tell Spock, you're the smartest guy in the room.
Finney. It was Finney.
Oh, yeah, Finney.
Finney, it's time to take the antimatter down to the planet.
Hey, Finney,
Hey, Finney.
you're up.
You're up.
so
But,
Garvik offers.
well, Garvik's like, sir, I want to go. And Kirk was like, I was going to take you. Which I don't know how to feel about that. It's one thing if I sign up for the suicide mission. It's another thing when the captain looks at you and goes, oh, you were going anyway.
That's right.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I was optional. You're going.
I was optional.
I'm still deciding whether I'm going or not.
Ensign, you're going.
You're going.
So everybody, it's just a touching journey of discovery, and everybody's going to get a little closure. That's all this is. I mean, there's an antimatter bomb, and, everybody's going to explore their feelings down on the planet. Kirk and Garvik beam down. Pretty good effect on the floating antimatter.
I was very impressed.
Pretty good effect on the floating antimatter bomb,
Yeah.
although they're clearly just carrying it after that. But
It seems super light.
Yeah. I'm sure it was on a wire, but yeah.
Yeah. So they set it down, and I kind of like this part in the writing because it was a very human thing. They're putting the bomb about where they think it's going to be. The plasma's sitting over there, and they're like, okay, now all we got to do is get the plasma. And the cloud descends on the plasma, drinks it all
I always
down.
thought there should have been a secondary bottle somewhere they could just beam down.
You would think, but that's not fun.
Well, what were they doing getting to minimum safe distance? I mean, this thing is an antimatter bomb. Why are you walking away from the hemoglobin?
it's hard.
I didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
It didn't make any
is anywhere not a good spot?
Yeah. I mean,
It's going to take out half the atmosphere regardless of where it is on the planet.
I'm thinking you hit energize wherever we land is good. I'm setting it right there, plasma bomb, and we wait. Or actually beam me up, because they got a thing called remote detonation, right?
well, no. Because remember, he said, "Give me the detonator," and he hands it to him, and he puts the detonator on the antimatter bomb.
Kirk's done a whole lot of stuff from sitting in that chair at a distance.
That's right.
Oh, and the Enterprise pulls to a 30,000 kilometer orbit for this. So this is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about it. Spock's little half the planet's atmosphere is going to be burned off, goes over your head in the old episodes because you don't see the planet.
Right.
There's no planetary shot, but our good friends at Paramount fixed that for us.
That's right.
So, Garrick tells Kirk, hey,
I smell it. That sickly sweet honey smell.
Yeah, we need more bait. We need more bait, and
that's right. Yeah,
you can't be the bait now. No, he's like, no, Garrick, I'm gonna
get back to the ship.
Get back to the ship. I'm gonna do it. Garrick goes, no, Captain. He's like, get back to the ship. That's an order. And Garrick gets that look in his face.
Yeah, he does.
Gets that look on his face.
Think you can take down the old man?
Yeah, gets that look on his face. It's that same
Judo chop chop.
Judo chop.
It's that same look other people had when they thought they could take a captain down. Judo chops Kirk. Throws a good strong judo chop into Kirk. Knocks Kirk down.
Kirk's recovery was within seconds.
Yeah, miraculous.
Yeah.
Kirk gets up and goes, I'm a captain, and commences on beating on Garrick. Which with the monster coming, by the way.
He hit Garrick so hard that when they fell into the rock
moved. Yeah. Wow. It's 1967, and rocks are made of styrofoam.
Yes, they are.
God only knows you couldn't have done a second take on that. But
Probably
the director's like, it's good.
it's good. Let's move on.
Nobody saw that.
Move on.
And, they didn't have 70-inch televisions back then, so
yeah,
nobody probably saw it.
We did, though.
We saw it. Beams up.
Didn't Kirk say to him, you're going on report or something?
He said, we'll talk about this when we get back to the ship.
Yeah, okay.
I took that as, I'm beating your behind if we get out of this. You're getting it, kid. But, from Garrick's point of view, what career?
So Kirk gets on the communicator and says, transport and detonate.
Yeah. So they still remotely detonated it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They still remotely detonated. That was my point.
That's a hell of a beam out. If you think about it, 30,000 kilometers beaming out during an antimatter explosion.
And Spock said the transporter might not work.
Right.
In past episodes, bad weather on the planet has interfered with the transporter.
Yeah, but special case. It's a special case. It's an antimatter explosion. It only does antimatter, not real matter.
Yeah. Okay.
Just trying to justify their writing.
It slips a little bit at the end of this episode.
It does.
Yeah. We kind of start to go downhill with fission, but bomb goes off. Bomb goes off, and
they're trying to beam them up.
Much like trying to download a song in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk and Garrick are stuck in the buffer, and they're trying to get them out.
McCoy goes, do something. Spock goes, we are, Doctor.
We are. We're working with it.
You see, it's working over here.
And Spock crosswire circuit B and brings them in. Gotcha. And somebody goes, thank God. McCoy, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Spock goes, no deity had anything to do with this. I crosswired circuit B.
Yeah, they had to have their little jokey time.
Yeah.
But Garrick and Captain come up and they're all smiling and
Did you
happy.
see Garrick though? He felt something though, because when he got off the pad, he was flexing his hand. Did you see him?
Garrick was like 1, 2, 3.
Do they all fold?
He was feeling something in
They
that
all
buffer.
fold?
Garrick was like, I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
You know what he's feeling? The early effects of that radiation that was coming into his.
That's why you never hear about Garrick again.
But they're all happy and they're joking around and they think they killed the monster. There's no proof that I killed the monster.
Oh, there's no proof that they didn't give it a multi-dimensional superpower.
It was so close when they were beaming out. I wanted little white puffs to come off the transporter with them and be little vampires.
There's no proof that they killed that monster.
No.
But they sure enough killed that planet. Like I say, I never thought about it as a kid.
Here we go. Here we go again. You thought George did it first? Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
Never thought about it as a kid. Oh, half the atmosphere be gone. As a kid, you don't have any clue what that means.
No.
And
especially when they don't show you.
And most adults don't have any clue what that means. Half of the breathing atmosphere of a planet is gone in an instant. You are sucked out into space. You're gone.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing left living on that planet.
The planet is done.
The planet is done. They killed a planet.
But the remaster fixes it. The Enterprise was pulling away from a moon. The Enterprise is pulling away from a burned out husk with a giant blast crater on it. They fix it. They do a beautiful job.
They didn't fix it. They still killed the planet.
No, they fix it. They show you.
I will tell you, you could have slept better as a kid if when Kirk said we're going to the Tycho system and it's the 4th planet, and all he had to say was, and it's uninhabited. Yep. Because we don't know that. We don't know whether that planet was uninhabited.
Well, it's the home planet of the vampire. So it's going out into space to kill other things. So I'm pretty sure its planet's got to be dead already of life.
You don't know.
Or at least life with iron-based blood.
Maybe.
Remember, it's its home planet. It's going out into the space to find other people to vamp on. Mm-hmm. So unless it's got daywalker servants on its planet that it doesn't want to vamp completely, its planet's done.
Yeah.
And you better hope that was the only and last one, because the ones that you leave alive on the other side of the planet are going to be a little pissed off.
And they don't need oxygen to breathe.
No,
it's a space traveling entity.
Because they're multiphasic.
It's a space traveling entity.
Yeah. It's the supreme being.
A warp 8 plus.
It's a warp 8 plus.
Super vampire.
Multiphasic being.
Super vampire.
All your base are belong to us.
It's a super vampire.
Yeah.
Probably the worst enemy that Star Trek has ever seen.
Yeah.
Other than the amoeba monster.
The amoeba monster was kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
what was the problem? It was going to multiply and absorb.
Yeah, that's true. But the amoeba monster was just there. But it is pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing.
They had to blow that up too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just got to kill these super beasts.
But it's the Federation. There's a lot of planets.
Hey,
let's not overreact.
You just got to kill these.
It's not like they just got one.
So what stuck in my mind was what Daystrom said. He said, "You and your Federation ego are sending our humans out into space."
We're invincible. Look what we've done. Your mighty star.
There it is. But that's not the end of the speech.
I know.
He said, "You guys are going out into space and you wasting human lives on all this stuff."
He wasn't wrong.
He was not wrong. He was not wrong.
His computer didn't work, but he wasn't wrong. So, obsession for Star Trek. A planet is a small price to pay to get rid of the amoeba.
And these are the good guys. Can you imagine what the alternate reality Enterprise, what the Empire would do?
Forget that. What would the Klingons have done?
Oh my goodness.
What would the Romulans have done?
These are the good guys. The good guys wax a planet.
Yeah.
With what?
1 ounce.
1 ounce
One
of
ounce?
antimatter.
Put 1 ounce of antimatter in a torpedo.
Actually, depending on who you ask, that's what's supposed to be in torpedoes, is just a touch of antimatter. That's the explosive, I think. Tech guys, get in the comments and correct me on that. I'm rusty. But
So it's got to be powerful because it powers a ship that allows them to move faster than light. So it's got to be powerful. I give them that. But if you weaponized it, you just roll up on somebody's planet and shoot a torpedo at it. Don't even do it. Beam it down. Set it off, and you wax the planet.
the Federation wouldn't do that.
The Klingons will. The Romulans will.
They have
And the
different-
Federation's got to have the equal equipment so that we might have mad.
Yeah.
So they would.
Who's old enough to know what MAD is? Put it in the comments.
Torpedoes employed deuterium, which is a stable hydrogen isotope, which is activated by antideuterium, very similar to a reaction in a nuclear explosion.
It's an antimatter bomb.
Artificial antimatter.
A photon torpedo's warhead contains a maximum of 1.5 kilograms of matter and 1.5 kilograms of antimatter.
See?
Kilograms.
That's way more.
So one photon torpedo could have taken the planet out.
Yeah. Is that a modern torpedo or is that an old Trek torpedo? They do change it.
I don't know. I just Googled it.
Okay.
All righty.
There it is.
These are the heroes.
But I got a question for everybody out there. Transporter. Would you do it? Would you really do it? Transporter comes online. They can beam you from here to Paris in 10 seconds.
They're not even beaming you. They're atoms.
They're Xeroxing you.
Their atoms was wiped out at that antimatter explosion.
And they were just pulled out of the memory.
Yep.
The memory buffer.
Yep.
Okay.
Photon torpedo, which detonates inside the hull, delivers a 64.4 megatons explosion to the target.
One torpedo should take out a ship. Easy.
Yeah. That's how strong shields are.
Wow.
In the old series, they were pretty consistent with that. And in normal ship-to-ship fight, one or two torpedoes, a direct hit was it.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. This has been Obsession, gentlemen.
Yes,
Obsession.
it has been.
Obsession.
Few little foibles aside, a pretty good episode.
Yes.
Obsession.
But the gravity of it.
We still love Trek.
Obsession.
The gravity of it.
We still love Trek.
Yeah.
The gravity of it. The gravity of it.
Because we love it, we have the opportunity and the justification to poke fun of it.
The obligation.
For you people who don't like it, shut up.
Damage. Where's the damage control?
I don't.
Don't you think I know that?
Well, that ain't it.
Close enough.
Nice.
If you want to fight Daystrom, put it in the comments. His views are his own, and
Not necessarily those of Men on Track.
Not necessarily those of Men on Track. And I don't recommend serving on his ship. Your life expectancy is
I will
short.
make you rich.
Yeah, maybe. Obsession. That's it. Men on Track. That's a wrap. And we're out of here.
Beam us out.